Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Hazira Atila binti Muhammad Aibuddin and my matric card number is 2314098. Today I will be presenting to you about introduction of existentialism. What is existentialism? Existentialism is one of the 20th century philosophy theories that explain in detail about what it means to exist as a human being. A man itself has to take heavy responsibility for their own actions and shape their own destinies to continue alive. It is concerned with a search for self and the meaning of life through free will, choice and responsibility. Existentialist thinkers believe that people are searching to find out who and what they are as they make choice based on their experience, beliefs and outlook. So from this, we can see that existentialist thinkers explore the nature of existence, the meaning of life and the individual's responsibility for their own actions. So there are 5 key terms in existentialism. First is existence precedes essence. This one is a famous quote between existentialists because existentialists reject the idea that individuals have predetermined purpose or meanings in life because they argue that existence comes before any essence and individuals define themselves to make their actions and choice to continue in life. Second is freedom and choice. As we know, existentialism promotes freedom. So they do highlight the importance of personal freedom and the ability to make meaningful choice. Third is individuality. Existentialism celebrates individuality and uniqueness because each person is seen as a distinct and autonomous being. To us to creating their own values and meanings in life. Fourth is anxiety and dread. Existentialists acknowledge the anxiety and existential dread that can arise from the awareness of one's freedom and the responsibility for us to make meaningful choices in life. So, confronting the uncertainty of existence is considered an integral part of the human experience. And the last one, which is point 5, is authenticity. Existentialists encourage individuals to live authentically because in each person have to be true to themselves to make their own values and their own choices and decisions rather than conforming to societal expectation and or external influencer.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Atika Madiha binti Muhammad and my matric number is 2314956, and for this part of the video, I'll be explaining the concept and the historical development of existentialism. Now, let's take a look at the concept of existentialism. Number 1, freedom. People are free in making choices and decisions in navigating their life, meaning to say that each individual are responsible to find their own meaning of life and to create their own purpose of life according to their perception and understanding. The next concept is anxiety. This concept of anxiety arises from the realization of our freedom and the responsibility that comes with it. This overwhelming feeling to make the right decision may lead to anxiety as we grapple with the weight of our decision and the uncertainty of our future. And last but not least, the concept of absurdity. Existentialists believe that life is inherently meaningless and absurd. Thus, each individual is responsible to find their own meaning and purpose in life. Now, let's dive to the historical development of existentialism. Existentialism has gone through many changes and has been interpreted differently by many different philosophers. The earliest interpretation of existentialism can be seen from 1622 to 1662 by Blaise Pascal. Blaise Pascal started the idea of existentialism with the idea of self-definition. He explained that humans define themselves by their cultural practice, or in other words, humans shape themselves in accordance to their particular understanding. This soon idea of self-definition became blueprint for the existentialism that we know today. And now let's get to know the founder of existentialism, Soren Kierkegaard, a Danish philosopher, and he is known as the father of existentialism. He reinvent or remodel the idea of existentialism from Blaise Pascal into more in-depth and more modern interpretation of existentialism. And soon after that, during the 19th century, the idea of existentialism has been popularized by other philosophers such as Jean-Paul Sartre, Simone de Beauvoir, and Albert Camus. Moreover, the period and the places this ideology take, the ideology of existentialism, is different throughout the years because it has been reformed by different people in different places. The earliest trace of existentialism can be seen from Blaise Pascal in France in 1623 to 1662. And last but not least, let's discuss the factors leading to the development of this ideology. It happened during the aftermath of World War II, where the destruction and the trauma left people to question the meaning of life, the purpose of life. And the existentialist thinker Jean-Paul Sartre sought to address this question by providing the framework of existentialism ideas to providing understanding about the human existence. That's all from me. Thank you very much, and I'll pass the next part to the next.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, sister, for the presentation. My name is Aisha Mira binti Shaiza with metric number 2114944. So, I'll be continuing the presentation with my part, which is the characteristics and the principles of existentialism. So, as what my group members have been explaining about, we can see that existentialism is a belief that promotes freedom and choices of what human beings should preserve in their life. Okay, so according to the existentialist thinkers, which is Albert Camus and John Paul, they said that as a human being, you should entitled to as much as freedom as you want, meaning that you can do whatever you want in your life, and there's no such thing that can bind you to ban you from doing anything. Okay, so apart of that, they also said that humans should have the ability to choose whatever they want to do in their own life. Okay, so for this beliefs, there's 4 characteristics that I will be mentioning later on. So the first characteristic is the choices and responsibility. So as what I mentioned earlier, existentialists, they believe that humans should have the ability to do or to choose whatever they want in their life, and they are very responsibility of what choices they are choosing from. So when you're choosing something, there's always a consequences. It's either good or bad. So the ability to adapt to the consequences is a very important thing in this belief. Next, moving on to the second characteristic, which is the individual isolation. So this belief, which is existentialism, believe that human should be isolated from another human, by means that they don't really encourage their believers to communicate with each other, because at the end of the day, they will be alone in the universe. Next, moving on to the absence of God. So, like any other ideologies, existentialism also, they don't believe in God. As the famous thinkers, which is Nietzsche, he mentioned in one of his books that the death of God is important, because when you focusing on yourself, you don't focus on the religious affairs, so that from that you can improve yourself, meaning that you have the ability, or you can improve yourself in the moral values in order for people try to accept you in their society. according to what existentialism. And the last characteristic, which is the emphasizing the present. So according to this belief, they also highlighted that the believers, the existentialists, should really focus on the present instead of the past and the future, because the past is unchangeable. Nothing you can do to change what if God have decided for you. But for the present, you can just focus on whatever you are doing. Give your best of it. For the future also, they don't really encourage the believers to focus on the future, because it matters the most is the present instead of the future. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Elina binti Ishaq. My metric number is 2315988. So today I'll be presenting about the impacts of existentialism to individuals. Existentialism really highlights on one's personal freedom and responsibility to choose and find meaning in their own life. This can lead to the sense of self-determination. As an illustration, in the movie Alice in the Wonderland, throughout Alice's entire life, her life has been controlled by her family, especially her mother. However, since she's alone in Wonderland, she can make all the decisions for herself due to the new freedom that she encounters. This shows that existentialism really provides individuals to choose and find meaning in their own life, but also have the responsibility of the outcome of the choices that have been made. Another impact of existentialism is it can give a really positive impact for those who are struggling with anxiety and despair. This is because they may grapple with the thought of struggle to find meaning in their own life. Individuals, when confronted with the choices that they have been made, they may get anxiety from the thought that they need to take a fully responsibility of the choices that have been made. One of the Jean-Paul Sartre's works, which is Existentialism is a Humanism, discussed to us that anxiety can arise from one's thought of taking fully responsibility. This shows that existentialism provides us to find meaning in their own life. So as a result, for those who are struggling with anxiety, may find that if they can be actively involved in the process of finding meaning in their own life, can have a sense of comfort and give a motivation for them to continue life. Last but not least, existentialism can also give impact on allied health profession. This is because doctors may seek to collaborate with the patients in the decision-making process, and doctors may also involve them regarding the management of their own health. As a result, this could empower patients' responsibility and make them more alert regarding their own health. Other than that, doctors may understand patients better by getting a sense of what it is and how it feels like to suffer when the body breaks down. In conclusion, the impact of existentialism is highly subjective. Some may find inspirations through it, while others may struggle with the decision that they have been made.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nuraya Aishani, and today I'm going to present about the strength and the shortcoming of existentialism. So firstly, one of the strengths of existentialism is on individual freedom. Man is considered free, but not based on the situation that they are in, but it depends on your attitude. Men have the ability to choose on their own whether they want to obey Allah's command or not. But with every action, they must bear the consequences of their own action. There is a verse from the Quran: "If you do good, you do good for your own souls, and if you do evil, it is for themselves." Verse 7, Surah Al-Isra. It means that in every action that a man does, whether it is good or bad, it will reflect upon themselves. This may result into human being to become more responsible, as they have the freedom to choose the path that they are going to take. So So we move on to the next strand of existentialism is that man can find meaning through their own choice. Existentialism promotes individuals to find purpose in everything that they do. The verse from the Quran, "And I did not create the jinn and mankind except to worship me." Verse 56 Surah Al-Dariyah. When we humans know the specific reason and the purpose on why we have been created in this world, it will give meaning to our life as we have specific goals that we need to achieve in this world, also in the hereafter. With that reason, we humans will work hard to worship Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala and perform our duties wholeheartedly. And if things that we have planned did not go as we want to, we will not be hurt as we know that everything that happened in our life have its own reasons. From Surah At-Tawbah, verse 51, "Never can anything befall us save what God has decreed. He is our Lord Supreme, and in our God that, like believers, place their trust." No matter what happens in our life, we must always remember the purpose of why we are created to this world in order to obtain peace in our life. Next, we'll move on to the shortcomings. Existentialism also has its own shortcomings, which is one of them is subjectivity and relativism. Based on existentialism, human knowledge also obtained by an individual experience. Every individual in this world has its own way of thinking as long as it is supported by a valid reason. This may lead human to think more subjectively, which will make them not believe in anything that cannot be seen scientifically proven or things that cannot be seen with their own bare eyes. Moral of a person is also considered subjective, as not everyone has the same thoughts on things that are good and bad for the society, which can lead to chaos in this world as everyone did not have the same ethical principle in their life. So that is all.
So in conclusion, the existentialism highlights the importance of personal freedom, the responsibility that comes with it, and the need for individuals to live authentically. As the Quran says, "And we do not create jinn and mankind except to worship and save me." It is clearly that Islam told us to live just to do an ibadah to Him, and to get a reward in hereafter. So actually there are pros and cons to existentialist thinkers, because they can be a good person, which they follow which they can do their own decision to follow the Allah's rules, and they can otherwise they can do decision to not to disobey their rules. So to sum up, the existentialism invites individuals to grapple with the uncertainties of existence and find meaning their life through their own choice and actions.
Essentialism was the standard view of the universe all the way up until the late 19th century, and it's still accepted by many people today. But in the late 1800s, some thinkers started to challenge the idea that we are imbued with any essence or purpose. German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, for example, embraced nihilism, the belief in the ultimate meaninglessness of life. But by the mid-20th century, the path had been paved for French thinker Jean-Paul Sartre to return to the question of essence and ask, what if we exist first? What if we're born without any hardwired purpose, and then it's up to us to figure out our own essences? Well, this became the framework for what we now know as existentialism, and its mantra is the claim that existence precedes essence. In other words, our existence, our birth, happens first, then it's up to each of us to determine who we are. We have to write our own essence through the way we choose to live. But we have no actual predetermined purpose. There's no set path that we're supposed to follow. It's hard to express how radical this idea was at the time, because for thousands of years before this, you didn't have to choose a path or find your purpose. God did it for you. But it's important to note that existentialism is not synonymous with atheism. Plenty of existentialists are atheists, but some are theists, like Kierkegaard. What theistic existentialists deny is any sort of teleology. That is, they refute the notion that God made the universe, or our world, or us, with any particular purpose in mind. So God may exist, but instilling you, or your life, or the cosmos with meaning, that's just not in his job description. As a result, we are each born into a universe in which we and our world and our actions lack any real feel inherent importance. This is a fundamental component of existentialism, and its adherents refer to it as the absurd. You and I think of absurdity as something that's just silly or preposterous, but for existentialists, absurdity is a technical term. It's how they describe the search for answers in an answerless world. We are creatures who need meaning, but we're abandoned in a universe full of meaninglessness. So we cry into the wilderness and get no response, but we keep crying anyway. That, for an existentialist, is the definition of absurd. Since there's no teleology, the world wasn't created for a reason, and it doesn't exist for a reason. And if there's no reason for any of this, then there's also no absolutes to abide by. There's no cosmic justice, no fairness, no order, no rule.
Hey guys, actually, there's something I want to ask all of you. Do you know what existentialism is?
No. What is that?
What is that? Oh, it's okay. Existentialism is about what it means to exist as a human being, as we human beings are a free creature.
But what are you asking, Aisha?
Oh, actually, I have read this journal about a prisoner and a waiter. So between the two of them, who do you guys think that is more entitled to freedom?
I think between prisoners and waiters should be more entitled to freedom. Because compared to prisoners, they're always being monitored in their cell 24/7. Like they are not free to do anything. While waiters, they just work and then they go home and then do whatever they want. So in terms of freedom, I personally think that waiters is more entitled to that more than prisoners. Yes, that's my opinion.
But I think prisoner is more freer because he have times to do anything that he wants. Since he is just waiting time for as a kid, he can do anything that he want as long as it didn't go against the rules. For waiter, he needs to go for work. He needs to pay for house rent, for tax. So he needs to work 24 hours. So actually, prisoner is freer than waiter.
But I don't think so because prisoner only free in terms of responsibility of life. Meanwhile, waiter have hold the freedoms in terms of choices and decision making. For example, to choose what they want to have to dinner, what time to sleep, compared to the prisoner because they have a strict schedule, strict meals to have. So I don't think prisoner hold that much of freedom.
I got your point, but I think freedom we know that freedom have a lot of aspect. In my opinion, I do think prisoner is more freedom compared to waiter because prisoner doesn't have work compared to waiter because they do work 8 hours per day. So as we can see, at night prisoner is more free because they can sleep while waiter they are working. So in terms of that, we can see that prisoner is more freedom. It's from my opinion.
Okay, after I heard all of your opinions, I think all of them are valid because it depends on the individual itself on what is meaningful to them, as everyone have their own experience in life. So that is why Allah give men the freedom to choose.
I see.